Hello, hello, hello. Oh, let me get all this stuff down. What the heck? Chat GPT's up there. Yes, I use Chat GPT to help me get my descriptions done a lot faster. Anyway, today is art tutorial day, not two. What day are we on? I have the wrong one up there. Okay. We'll put that one down for a moment. So anyway, I think this is day three. It's already been a blur this weekend. Lots of stuff happening. Hopefully, yeah, my mic's working. That's good. At least that's working. Um, yeah, so today is day three of art tutorial week. And basically, it's been a busy day. I'm trying to get studio stuff done, but then we also needed to go to the grocery store. And we did have some collectors over today, kind of a preview of our big event this weekend. And they came over and we had a good time with them, sitting on the couch, hanging out. And basically, they wanted to come and see the um the products that we have, the artwork that we were going to be selling for this weekend coming. And as they are avid collectors of our work, and when I say our work, it's mostly Freddie's. They've got a couple of my pieces, but they are super sweet, and they actually um, purchased three different pieces today, so that was really, really nice. And so yeah, I'm just trying to fix this thing where I messed up. And we just had a good time with them. Uh, they left and then we went to the store and from there it's been a blur. So we went to a couple stores. So anyway, sorry this is a late video and I'm gonna try to finish this video tonight um with the mango painting. Now, I started this mango painting um, in March, so a month ago. I had I had started using gouache actually a month ago, so I really love it. And as you can see, I've already been working on it. So I'm gonna get right into this video with you guys. Put the keyboard down. And hopefully I can mix these colors back because it's been a month and I don't have that palette anymore. So we're going to take the magic fingers here and go to the tabletop. Ta. So with the supplies, oh, wait, let's go back. The supply list. Okay. Maybe you guys want to know. Painting supplies are pretty simple. You need something to paint on, canvas, paper, whatever type of painting you're doing, whether it's watercolor, acrylic, gouache, or any other kind of paint. So you need a surface to paint on. You also need, obviously, paint, um, paint brushes, a cup of water, and some paper towels. It's pretty much a very simple list of supplies that can get you started painting. Now, I am using gouache, and gouache is basically kind of like an opaque watercolor. So that's the medium I'm using today, and the goal is to finish this painting. So I already have a lot of it done. And I guess we should just get into it here. Let me grab the magic fingers. And here we go. All right. And we're going to lift the camera up a little bit, move it around. So I have oh, you need a palette, a plate. I use this, I don't know, these are just it's a porcelain plate. It does still have paint on it, but that's fine. So let me fill up. I didn't fill up my little water cups here. I usually have a couple of different water cups to use in case one gets super dirty. I can change it out really quickly by having a couple ready to go. So, and these are just some reused um, yogurt or something containers. So the gouache I'm using a couple different style or different brands. So these are the main colors I'm going to be using. I really hope I can mix these colors again. I think it'll be fine. I'm pretty good at getting back to a color that I already mixed. Um, so obviously we're not going to be using these. These are the purples and the blues. We're not using these in this painting. And in here are the reds and a dark blue. So we will, however, be using this red. And in this case, it's light red. You know what? I used the Rosa red also. It's kind of like a magenta. So I did use these. The brown, I'm not sure if I'm going to use that. So I'm going to lay out some gouache on my palette, and I will be using white to lift the tone. So a tone of a color is a lighter version of the color, usually using a lighter paint to lighten it up, or a lighter version of color to lighten something up. You can use white and so on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this paint down. I'm not going to do too much more on the mangoes. I will do a nice crisp edge around them um, as far as that, but sometimes these are hard to open. Um, my focus is I want to give a little bit of like sun glares. Um, I forget what they're actually called. So that's what I call them. Little sun glares, those little sparkly moments you get in a painting or in a photograph. And it doesn't take a lot of this paint, so I am only putting down about the size of an English pea. And don't need too much more than that. I think I used this one too. Since it has been about a month. No, I did not use this one. I did not use that paint. Not this one. Maybe it was the bright yellow. So, so yeah, it's been a busy, busy day. Trying to get everything done before this event. It's a lot of work. I have I have a big announcement I'm going to be doing on Friday. Um, you guys are going to hear part of that announcement as well on Friday. You will probably hear it first before everyone else. My goal is this coming Friday, I will be on live early, but it will also be um, a very short one because I have the big event. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to put up, hopefully this is going to this is the mangoes, the photo image of what I am painting. Now, I'm not painting it exact because I do want to have a lot of blurry edges, like in here in this section that is on the lower left corner. It's actually quite blurry in that. We're going to keep that blurry there. I'm going to put some more leaf um, at the top, and I'm going to try to put the stems in today. So this is the photo reference that I did. Now I'm going to show you guys, I did this on Canva, and I took this, I believe this is the original, and then I took out some of the mangoes, if you can tell. I changed it around so I could see different um, ideas of what it should look like. A better cohesive look to it. So this is the my final idea behind that. So I did, like I said, I did pull this up by reference. Um, so this is the painting. We'll move one of these waters out of the way so we don't spill it on top of everything else. I also sometimes have a water bottle available because with gouache, you can actually spray your palette, and if it seems to be drying up, you can spray it to make it wake up again. So in this case here, I have already started the painting, obviously. So I'll have to try to find the link to when I painted this before. So, and I know I painted some of this offline. And I do have a video of that. I will have a full version of the video um, coming out as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to mix in, you know what? I do need some green, so I am gonna need the blue. I am, not this blue. So, the gouache that I do not have the color green, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of, what do I want to use? I think I'm going to use aquamarine blue. So I am going to put a little of this on the palette as well, so I can get some of that green in there. It's not going to take too much of the blue because I want it more on a lighter shade of blue, a lighter tone of blue. Because they will be in the shade, so is it a shade or a tone? No, haha. So anyway, let's get into this. Um, I do have my brushes here, so you can see this here. These are probably the brushes I use the most. I keep in here, and then I have some behind me as well, but the ones that I use the most, I've moved to this section here. But we are going to be painting the leaves in the background at the top. So I'm going to move the canvas down this way and adjust the camera, get everything all set and ready. I tend to like to have my paper towels at the edge of my water cup. You guys probably can't see that, it's off camera, but it's over here. This is paper towel. And I'm gonna first start by mixing the color. I'm gonna mix a couple different colors. I'm gonna mix the color for the green, and then I'm also going to mix the color for the stems. The stems are kind of an orange color in the reference piece, but the first biggest thing that I'm going to paint are some leaves. So I'm going to take a little bit of a bigger brush here. What size is this? This is a number 8 round tip brush. And I will wet the brush here take off some extra water, and we're going to mix the green. So obviously, what colors make green? Yellow and blue, right? So I'm going to take some of the yellow here. When you mix your colors and you want equal values to get your secondary color, I think of it as, okay, I put this much on the tip of the brush with a little scoop. So when you do that, you want that amount, the same amount roughly for your second primary color. So about this much. And I use the same brush to mix this with. And as I mix it, I'm just going to spin it around gently here, slowly adding in the yellow to get the color that I want. Now, this is a lot more on the blue scale. The darker the color, the more pigmented it's going to be towards that color. If that makes sense for you. So I'm going to grab a little bit more yellow. So always think of it as a recipe. So when you are doing your colors, you can get back to those colors. I think that's like the secret sauce on how to mix your colors and oh no, I need to make more because I didn't make enough. And how do you get back to that? So I'm very happy with this color green that I have here. I know the lights are pretty bright. Let's see if I can tilt it a little so you guys can see. There you go. And then I am going to go over here and grab a little bit of the white that we put out and I'll put it to the side. I'm just going to roll it off and put it to the side. So when I want a lighter tone, I already have the white here available really close by. So, and then I could go ahead and just mix a lighter tone of it. All right. So with gouache, one of the nice things is that you can actually, and it's very much like watercolor, but you can actually paint light over dark. When you are doing watercolor, it is very difficult to paint a light color over a dark color. You have to start light with watercolors and then build up to the darker color. But in gouache, you can go ahead and paint something dark and then paint light over it. So um, I like to paint all my darker values first, just in general, unless I'm doing watercolor. Um, I do tend to like to paint the darks first. It gives you those shadows, and then you can add up the color to get your highlights in there to wake it up a little bit. Um, these leaves that I'm going to be putting in, I will start from the point of the leaf and pull it up and push down with my brush to get the broader side of the leaf. We're going to take the camera down here a little closer to the tabletop and we're going to we have the paint here. I'm going to go ahead and load it with this darker paint first. So I got a darker green right here. I'm going to make sure I have enough paint in my brush. And I'm going to start on this side here, holding my brush kind of upside down like this. Instead of like this, I'm going to hold it upside down and put the point where I want the point of the leaf to go. So I'm going to say roughly the point of the leaf is here. That's the tip of the leaf. I'm going to push it down, giving more pressure, and then pulling it up to the top of the painting. It's going to go off the painting. Now, I'm going to need a lot more paint than that. So then you have that basic leaf. We're going to make it a little bit broader So I'm going to grab some more paint. I'm going to do the same process, start at the tip and push broad stroke to the top. Okay, so now I'm going to let this one dry for a little bit. You can tell when it's dry if it's not shiny anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more of these leaves in. And a mango leaf actually is a little bit wider than that. Let me go ahead and pull that one a little bit wider on the side. There we go. And I'm going to do a couple on this side of the painting as well, holding my brush in this position, placing it down where I want the tip of the leaf to go. Make it broader, 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 push, 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 and off the edge. And one thing about gouache, it cleans up pretty good. So I'm not worried about it getting on the table too much. It will clean up really well. I'm just going to do that a couple more little strokes of that same thing going into the tip, pushing down, pushing my brush wider and off the edge. And you should see this one here. There we go. So I'll do a couple more. And I'm going to mix a little bit more color. So with painting, it's just, you can go in on a painting and paint how you feel. I know that when I paint, I really have to be in a mood to paint. I tend to like to paint with music on, which is when I'm on here on YouTube, I can't paint with music on because, can't do that. So, it's kind of nice to be on here. And if you guys are chatting with me, I do have the chat open. So go ahead and ask me any questions in there if you want, if you are tuning in live. If you're not catching it on the live, I do see your comments. Go ahead and put them in there, and I will comment on them back to you. So I'm going to do the same thing, push it wide, 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 and off. Just making these broad leaves. I'm going to pull one going this direction here. And push and pull off. Like I said, I'm not too worried about getting it on my table just for the fact that it cleans up really, really well. So I'm going to make one more, a little darker right there. I'm going to take that same one that I just painted and make it a little bit darker. And then push down, make the brush nice and wide, grab that little piece there. Make it, push it down, make it a wider brush. Start off tiny at the point and bring it off. So I have 4 dominant leaves there. Now I am going to put one leaf that's going to go behind this mango here. And the way I'm going to do that is a little bit different. I'm going to decide where this leaf is behind this piece of mango, and I'm going to go ahead and put the broad section in first, just because I don't want to get too close with this leaf. So now I'm going to flip my brush over. Grab some more paint. And I'm going to bring it down to about right here. So I want to start it off there, small, bringing it up, pushing down on the brush, up into where I made that one point there. So then I don't have to worry about going all the way up against the mango with the leaf. I can just meet up partially there. Same thing, gonna make it broader and come up to the edge of that and just blend it in a little bit. Now these leaves are going to be a dark color currently, and that's because we're going to lighten this green up a little to start adding in the stem of the actual leaf is more on a yellowish orange scale. So I'm going to clean up my brush. You guys can't see that. It's over here. Cleaning up my brush, taking that dark green out. Give it a good swim. A happy brush is a clean brush, guys. Because then you can grab your next color. My next color I'm going to be using, you can see all the different happy green here that I made. I'm going to be using this. It's very close to an, like an Indian yellow. Just going to take a little scoop of this, put it to the side, grab a touch of water, add that in. And I'm going to take a little bit of the green that we were using, and I'm going to add this in just to dull it down a little bit, maybe a little bit more. Just picking it up with my brush, adding it in, and I'm going to take my brush and spin it and squeeze the paint out as I do this, because when I do the stem or the center part of the leaf, I will not be using this big brush. I'm gonna clean out my brush, give it a couple wipe downs, clean it out. This is where having a second thing of water comes in play. So you can really clean it. So you have one dirty, dirty water, and then you have a clean water or semi-clean water. So the next brush I'm going to use, I'm going to grab a long liner brush like this, and I'm going to go ahead and wet the brush, and I'm going to go in. This paint is super thin, and I'm going to grab the color that we just made there, and with each leaf, I'm going to put in the center stem part of the leaf, I guess you could say. Same process, turning my hand this direction. I'll brace my finger on the canvas, starting at the point, just barely touching and pulling up the stem. Now, of course, you don't want to get too close to that mango that direction. Come back in and pull it down like this. This is just giving us the guide of where that is. We are going to come back in with some lighter greens to highlight them. So we're going to go back up here to this one that we made. Now this one has more of a curve, so we are going to give this one a little bit more of a curve. Start at the point and pull it in and follow the curve off the canvas. And you probably couldn't even see that because it is actually quite light. Um, the paint that I'm using. Let me add a little bit more to that. I'll do that one again. You want this paint to be super thin. It's almost like ink or watercolor. So now you can see that it's in there. Here's the one we did here. I'm just doing this to grab and show where the center of the leaf is. So in this one, I'm going to place it at the point. Where am I at on my camera? And then slowly bring it up and off the canvas. You can go over it again if you want. Just be sure to follow that line. That green paint's still wet there. So just gonna do that. The two that are up here at the top. Let's turn the camera this way. These two here, same process. Gonna have some watery paint on a very thin liner brush. Start at the point. We want to go right up the middle. Right up the middle and off the top. Same one here. If you notice, I use my pinky finger to just give me a little bit of a brace. And this one's off the top. So we have a little bit of a yellow middle. Now you're not going to see all the little tiny veining within this leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and give my brush a good wash there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some highlights on these leaves. Now these leaves are still a little wet, which is fine, but you can see the difference. See where it's a little shiny and where it's not. That shows you if it's dry or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this number 8 round brush and I'm going to get some water on that. I'm going to go into the colors that I have that are already on here. And I have where I drug that yellow in there. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit more. And here's where the white is going to come into play. I'm going to grab some of this white and just work it into the darker color. Uh, do that. And what I'll do is I'm going to just go in and add in some light on these leaves. And I like to actually go in and touch it with my finger and just blend it a little bit that way. So if you want to go in and give it a little bit of light, just dab it with your finger. You can do that. Same thing with this side. Go in. I'm going to dab it with my finger here. You could also, if you wanted to grab another round brush, wet it a little bit. And if you want to go and smooth out these edges, you can take the brush and just go across the edge and blend them in a little bit. You can do that too. And then you still get your darker value in your leaf, but with a little bit of highlight on the edge. So after working with gouache a little bit this past basically a little over a month, I really like it. Um, I've done a little bit of plein air painting with it, and I've also done the studio work with it. And I just really like it. So if you are looking for trying another medium of paint, paint medium, I suggest testing out gouache. It's a lot of fun, and you can treat it a little bit. Um it's kind of like acrylic paint and watercolor had a baby. It kind of gives me that vibe. So now I've got this leaf a little bit more detailed. I'm going to go down to this one down here. And I'm just going to give it a couple little touches of light coming in on this one. And take this brush. This brush here that I'm using has just got a little touch of water. And I'm just going to go around the edges and just kind of blend it in a little bit. And that's one of the really cool things is that it stays workable a lot longer than acrylic paint gouache does. And I really like that because sometimes you want to go back on a spot and do just like this, lighten it up a little bit. You can go back in here and do that with the gouache. If it were dried acrylic paint, you kind of go back to the drawing board and have to start over and mix the color and bring it back in. So, um, in this case, you can just go back and forth. Now, some of this obviously was painted about a month ago, and it's not as blendable and when you wait that long. Just gonna add a little bit of lighter color in here. Just pulling it in, moving it around. So we're going to go back to the top up here and do this one first. This leaf here, we're going to go ahead and give it a pretty dynamic bit of lighter green. I'm going to blend it in. I'm just going right on the edges and pulling the color from the inside to the out of the leaf. And take it, and I want the middle of the highlight to be the brightest point of the highlight. Add a little more lighter green right here at the point. And grab a little bit more water, do the same thing here. I hope this is actually coming across on the video well enough. So, one more highlight in here. We're going to do the same thing over on these leaves over here as well. I might come back to this leaf here and grab some more of my highlight color. I'm going to turn this a little bit and go ahead and give it a broader, lighter stroke on each side. And take my blending. Just work it down in there. Bring that a little wider. So yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you are tuning in live, thank you. Catching this on the replay, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. This is art tutorial week for the month of April. I'm going to try to do art tutorial week um, once a month. And that doesn't mean that I won't do an art tutorial um, other times of the month too. Just I'm designating 1 week out of the month for tutorials and hopefully inspire you guys to paint. And I know I'm on here kind of late tonight, so some of you guys might very well just only be seeing this on the replay. Just gonna add a little more in here. So it is getting rather late. I've only painted a few leaves, so that's not not my intention tonight. I really wanted to try to get this done. But I want you to know that you can paint. Don't be scared of it. You can get some supplies from your local stores, craft stores, hobby stores, even your department stores if you're here in the US, such as maybe even going to a Walmart or a Target. There are painting supplies pretty much in all the stores lately. Um, I've noticed if you're on a budget, you can get paint still. If you are not on a budget, you can get paint. Everybody can probably get some paint from somewhere. So I want you to experiment with it and find something that you want to paint. In this case, I am painting mangoes, and you might be like, why are you painting mangoes? Well, we live in a neighborhood that is very well known for the mangoes. It used to be back in the day, used to be a mango plantation area. And we're talking about around the late 1800s, early 1900s. Um, so it's really kind of cool to know that we actually have, I think the tree across the street from us, um, my neighbor, they, that tree, I think that that's the oldest tree in the neighborhood for mangoes. Some people might differ with that, but I believe that's the oldest mango tree in our neighborhood. Um, so yeah, that's my opinion on that. It's a really beautifully shaped tree. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the base of the stems, which is always kind of scary, of the mangoes in with this golden kind of Indian yellow. It's not Indian yellow. I'm pretty sure that it's not called Indian yellow, but it looks like Indian yellow. So I'm going to take and use this very bold color first. And I'm going to use this very tiny, teeny tiny liner brush. I'm going to add some water and I'm going to make this just like ink. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at the base of the mango and pull the stems up. So we are going to start. Let us see. We'll start with this one. No, we're going to start with this one farther away. And in this case, we have this one leaf here. And I know there's all these other little stems and stuff. I'm going to blend that out in a little bit. But you have to find where the the middle, just find the middle of the mango where it would be stuck to the thing. And I'm going to make one point and I'm going to bring it up, but this one is going to go behind that leaf. So we're going to pretend it's behind the leaf and it actually would be completely behind the leaf. So this is just a marker telling me that that's where that stem's going to go. So this one, let's go to this lower one. And this one is actually going to go all the way on top of the mangoes. This one is on top of these two mangoes. So we're going to find where we want the middle to be. And we're going to grab it and be brave. And I'm going to bring it all the way to the top. It's actually really scary to do. You have this painting that you've been working on and you just take and automatically just put a put a line right on top of these beautiful mangoes that I have painted here. Um, they remind me, I don't know which mangoes it is in the photo reference, but they look like a mango type that's called Southern Blush. And I that mango is probably my most favorite mango to eat is Southern Blush. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This one actually is on that side, but I'm going to take this one and I'm going to connect it because this one actually connects to that same branch. And yes, mangoes, there can be more than one mango on one branch. So I'm just going to put this one on the same branch and bring it up to the top. This is a really thick branch. So I am going to go on it again and just push down a little bit more and bring it all the way up. We're going to do the next one, this one here. This one has a nice big branch as well. Um, oh, and the neighbor across the street, we can see his mango tree from our living room. And I'm literally every day watching the mangoes ripen. Every day they're a little bit more peachy orange, and Some are already falling from the tree. The tree is huge, so I'm sure the ones from the top aren't going to be very edible once they reach down to the bottom. So that's really unfortunate because they've been growing so long. So I'm going to go down here to this bottom one here. This one is very light. In fact, there's a leaf over this one, but I took the leaf out and I just want to, this one is behind here. So I'm just going to go, just barely put one point here and one point here, and I'm going to connect the dots. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm going to go here and just go straight up to connect them there. And then, of course, this can't just defy gravity like that. It does need to go all the way up. So I'm going to put a second one right here beside this one and try to imagine where that line is coming up. And it's approximately here. So just touch it and bring it up to there. So that's roughly where it is. Now I will broaden um, these stems in a bit. Now this one that's over here on the left, the bottom, this stem goes all the way up behind this leaf. Let's make this a little bit higher. Okay. Oh, we're almost done for the day. Getting in just in time. I just want to remind you guys that Friday I will be coming on live and I will have a big announcement on Friday that I've been working on for a little while. And it's almost time to tell you guys. Nothing major, but something different. That's not the straightest line, but that's okay. It's nature, right? It's actually not that bad. It's hard to do this and make sure you guys see it on the camera. I'm gonna take it from the top. You guys are seeing the making of this painting. This painting will be available for sale um, at our event. Unfortunately, I probably am not going to put this one on as an original on our website. If I can get it done in time and get it photographed, I might be able to do prints of this one. And that was my ultimate goal with this painting actually, was to make this one into prints and possibly digital downloads. We are working on some digital downloads. That's not the big announcement. I mean, it kind of is a big announcement, but it's not the big announcement. This one here, I don't like the position, the angle that I did that on, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to correct it just by making it a little bit thicker. So, and with each one of these branches that I'm putting in, I will make them wider such as this one, because this one's really hanging low. We're going to make it a little bit wider. The same process. Start at the base and push your brush down, which will make it broader. Make the brush go a little bit on a broader level. Same thing here. Just kind of lift it up and all the way. And then go from this one back down. All right. So I'm just going in. Those were the baselines, and right now I'm just making them thicker. This one here. I actually want to make this one a lighter shade of this color, so I'm going to, sorry for all the noise. I'm grabbing some white paint and I'm going to put it to the edge over here of this yellow, and we're just going to lighten it up. And this kind of Indian yellow. I'm trying to grab enough water to make it inky. Make it like ink, especially when you're using a liner brush. You want it to be very loose with the paint. And I did turn this on an angle a little bit because I do want to get in here a little bit more. Pull that straight off the top. Grab the color. Push down with my brush. And just follow that initial line that we put in. And when you add this lighter tone here, you will see it a lot more up against the mangoes that we're overlaying. There we go. Now you can see that a lot better. And we'll bring it down this way. So we are after midnight. Now this does not count for the next day's video. I still will be on here tomorrow, live. It's a very busy day as always tomorrow. So gonna make it a little bit wider. This branch has to be, or stem branch. I don't know how you want to call this, but it's got to be a little bit wider there because it's not going to hold that mango if it's that big of a mango and that thin of a branch, right? Kind of have to use some thought of physics. Oh, that is not going to work, right? There's no way possible. That teeny tiny branch is holding it, so you got to make it wider. I'm sorry I hit the camera there. I could actually just continue painting all night, but I know that I'm going to need to go to bed at some point. So I'm completely touching the camera wire here. Sorry that I'm shaking the camera. It's just giving you the visual that maybe it's a windy day with these mangoes. If I start moving it around, it's just a little bit of a breeze coming in. There's some here. Push that lighter color on there too. Not gonna get rid of all the darker color, just adding in some light on here. And I suggest when you're painting, move your painting around. Like I'm turning it 90 degrees um, to get a better angle. So don't feel that you have to keep it in a vertical position all the time. If you need to move it around, then you need to move it around. Um, it's one of the reasons I like to paint usually on a flat surface. There's not very many times with the sake of me painting here in the studio, um, I almost paint always um, laying down on a surface, usually the table right here. So you don't have to have an easel to do this, but you do need to have good lighting. Um, Studio here we have I actually have studio lights and an overhead light above me. And I originally had my desk a different way, and now the studio light or the ceiling light is not the same direction as my desk, which kind of bums me out a little bit because I intentionally had Freddie Freddie place the light a certain direction, and then I decided to change my desk around. So I use my studio lights, um, photography lights around the table here. And for me, if you didn't notice, I wear glasses, and I really have to have a lot of light to really see. I mean, it's not like a doctor's note or anything like that. It's just I see much better with a lot of light. And I guess that's normal. Just going in and adding a little bit of highlight on that one. I don't know that you guys can even see that, but it's looking pretty good. This one over here, I gotta broaden that one quite a bit. So I'm gonna add a little water to this color. I'm gonna take the darker one and going to I think I'm gonna how do I want to paint this? Maybe turn it this way and paint it like this for you guys. Put my finger down to give me a little bit of a brace. And I'm making this branch almost double the width it was. And then down here, I actually have the painting completely upside down right now. Take it there and bring it up. Got a little crazy there. Ooh, ooh. This is where I should bring my paper towel over here, but that's okay. There are going to be these little flares. I have some here that I started working on, and then I was like, I need to go to bed, and then I haven't worked on it this painting since then. I think I'll add those flares in off camera. Or maybe I can work on these couple ones right here because it's getting late. So I'm hoping this painting sells for this weekend. It's kind of nice having it upside down. I can get closer to the edge and you can't see that, but I'm around the edge over here. Where I pulled them off the edge of the painting, I'm going to go ahead and touch it around the edge. Just kind of finishes off the brush stroke of the paint. Okay, so I have the base of them done. I'm going to go over this one more time. Go at it sideways. Grab some more white. You guys can't see me on my palette because it's way over there. Adding some water. Got a lot lighter white in here now. And you want this inky, watery consistency. Now, tomorrow is Monday, slash, it's actually already Monday because it's after midnight. And we're going to be doing some upcycle project tomorrow. This is just a lot lighter color. I'm just going to go in and just give it a little brush, kind of like a highlight. Ooh, really get a little too crazy. So yeah, we're going to do a little bit of an upcycle project tomorrow. Um, so if you want to tune in live, I will not be on here late tomorrow. I will be on here earlier in the day. Just gonna go and touch that. Just to blot that down a little. Ooh. Sorry, I got kind of quiet trying to focus on this line. It's always so scary to go over something that you spent so much time getting the right blend of color. And you just stick something right on top of it. So I do teach a Bob Ross style art classes, and he's very known for just taking and all of a sudden he's got this great painting and then he sticks a big tree right on top of everything he worked so hard to paint. And my classmate, the class is always like, no. So you gotta be brave, just like Bob. So it's the same thing here. Like you paint over right over this beautiful blend of color that I have here. And then I'm just gonna paint right over it. So, um, super scary sometimes. All right, those are looking pretty good. They do have like a mango tree has a ton of little tiny buds and flowers when it is blooming, and then it leaves little indentations on the stems because literally only one flower actually turns into the one mango on the stem. And in this case here, this one actually got a second stem here, like a little branch off. And when you really look at a mango tree, it has these little dots on the stems where the other flowers were. So it does bloom in a big flume of flowers. Like it'll just be like all these flowers, but literally like one of them will survive basically to give you a mango. So when you have this branch, you would have these little darker spots where the flowers were on the plume. So I'm just taking some darker color. I'm just going to add these random little dots in. To see that a little closer, you can see these little bits of darker color going in. Yeah, I'm always surprised every year at how pretty the mango tree is when it's blooming. It literally has this golden bloom, flumes and blooms of flowers. And then they just disappear. And then eventually, after about a month, you start seeing the mango forming. And it's just really fun because we literally watch it from our couch. We have giant windows in front of our house, and you can just watch the mango tree evolve every year. And the neighbor's mango tree, we don't have one in our yard, but his tree blooms twice. So it will bloom, and then about 4 weeks later, it blooms again. So it actually has mangoes on it for a lot longer than some of the other trees here because it blooms literally twice. So it has all these little specks. It almost looks like a giraffe of places where all those flowers were. So I will do that process on all the leaves or all the branches. So It's just going to take a little time to do that. And as I mentioned, I will do one of these little bursts of light. So I'm going to go into these here, and I'm going to take my number 8 brush, my bigger brush here, and I'm going to go and grab a little bit of white. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to grab some white, and I have this other yellow here that we mixed up here, and I'm going to drop this white beside it. And I put that down so long ago, it's already caked over, folded over. And I'm going to get this pale yellow color. I have to try to remember how to do this. I haven't done it in a while. So I'm going to grab this color here, add a little water to it, water it down a little bit. And I'm going to go in on these here that I had started working on, and I was like, no, I'm not like that. I'll come back to that. And now I'm going to go back to it. So I'm going to go in and just give it these rounded little glares. And it's almost going to look like lemons. Sorry, I just made the camera move, but it is what it is, guys. Sorry. So I'm going to add in these little bits of light coming through. And this is watered down gouache. And maybe one here, one off the edge here. So once I have these in here like this, I will go an even lighter tone. You guys aren't seeing that on the camera, but I'm adding white, and I'm not going to water it down as much. And I'm just going to go in and put in a little bit of white, lighter, well, it's lighter yellow on here. Like I said before, I start usually with a darker value. And then, so I have these little flares of light going on. And now I'm going to take, I'm going to try to do this with a very tiny little brush. Find my teeny tiny brushes in here. This one is a super tiny little brush. And I'm just going to take white and then water it down is what I'm doing on my palette. Stuck that way too far in the paint. Just adding pure white. And I'm gonna outline it a little here. And then that brush that I used for blending earlier, I'm just gonna go and flare it out a little bit. It's been a little while since I did some of these like this. And then it's gonna look like it's glowing a little bit. Now you could take some of the green that we had on our palette before. I could grab some of that. Just added some water in here. And if I want to blend it out, just take some of this green and put it along the edge too. And hopefully that you guys can see that. I should be working from the top down, but I did not. Just gonna outline it in white, then take a little watered down green and go along the edges. And you can come back on these and make them brighter later on as well. So let me take a look. So guys, just want to pull up a reference real quick. Taking a look at something super quick. So, but this painting is really fun to make. Um, I really like making paintings of fruit. Last tutorial, I also did a lime in pointillism. So that was a lot of fun. really showed me what I was looking for. So I always recommend if you're ever wanting to look something up, just Google it, find it, and see if it shows you what you want. You can tell I'm starting to slow down. I'm really tired. Starting to get super tired. And that's when I get to the point where I'm doing really silly stuff. And yeah, sometimes I get a little crazier. Not crazier, but I just get tired. Imagine that. A lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, do you ever sleep?" Especially when I used to work in a regular job. I worked a lot during the day, and then I would come home and work a lot for my art business. And a lot of people are like, "Do you go to sleep?" I'm like, "Yep, eventually I go to sleep." So there's no wrong way of making little flares in the painting. I mean, they're basically bursts of light, and it's a lighter version of what's already painted. That makes sense. Can you go too far with it? Yes. Freddie's probably like, is she ever going to come back upstairs? Yes. He's not watching. And yes, sometimes he is here in the studio. You guys aren't seeing him much because his daughters are here. Well, the oldest one went back already, but the youngest one's here now by herself. And we only get to see them usually once a year. We see them. And so he's up there. And actually, he hasn't made a lot of art this year. We were talking about that earlier. He hasn't produced a lot because we've been doing a lot of house jobs around here, projects that have been, this is the year that we are like, we're going to finish up these projects that we've started. And, so he's been doing a lot of that and hasn't been making as much art as normal. So, um, yeah, so we have a lot of stuff going on. And it's just kind of nice, actually, when I'm here in the studio by myself, especially late at night. I like to paint late. I think it just helps me chill. Painting is very relaxing for me, so I could just paint for hours. In fact, he usually is like, "You're gonna come upstairs," because I'll just continue to paint. And I know I've been on here a really long time. This is becoming a very long video, but I don't want to stop painting. So it might be the case that you guys won't see the finished product tonight. I mean, you're probably not going to see the finished product tonight because there is quite a bit more of this painting I need to do. Um, Eventually, I will show you the finished product before Friday, but I do have to go back to work next week. When I say go back to work, um, I teach art, so the kids have been out of school this past for a week, so it was nice to have a little time off. It's very close to the end of the semester, so it's kind of crazy that I have a day or a week off, and the semester is going to be ending soon. So I hear them moving upstairs. I know they're probably going to want to go to bed. So I'm going to finish up this one here with a little green around the edges. That's my call. He's whistling for me to come to bed. So yeah, so this is what it looks like so far. Pretty good, right? Sort of. I mean, it might not translate very well for you guys up there, but it is probably going to be my call for the night since Freddie is actually on the stairs right over here looking at me. Freddie? He's speechless. What do you think? Can you see it? Yeah. Well, he says he likes it, guys, so that's pretty good. I think when I first started this painting, he was a little shocked. I don't really like get to paint something that is just my painting very often. And I love to do that because it's, it's kind of important to have your own paintings and not something that's improvised somewhere else just because you're teaching a class. I just love to be able to paint something that's kind of in my head or using a photo reference. So that's what this painting's about. And also my study of gouache paint that I've been doing. I really, really like it. So anyway, so this is where we're at right now. I know that is such a glare. See if I can get it to. So you can see the little texturing on the stems, and the lighting is just not doing much painting. We're gonna have more of these sun flares going on in different spots. So we got the leaves painted, we got the stems painted. Just need to texturize them. And this is, um, I think, an hour more on it. I might be able to finish it. So anyway, if you did tune in live to this very long video, I appreciate it very much. Let me move some stuff around here. And yeah, we'll be back on here tomorrow, which is actually today, which is going to be later today, but not too late like this is. But anyway, that's just a little funny thing. So we're going to take the magic fingers, switcheroo. Hello, there's our list still up on the screen. So today has been the mango painting, day 3 of our art tutorials here in April. And if you are interested to know more about what we do, I suggest maybe you might want to go to our website. It's tinydoors.org, and the QR code there will lead you to some of our other social channels. It's not you, it's me. I'm tired. So, anyway, I just want to say thanks for tuning in and hope you all have a good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. And we will see you later today, but that's tomorrow. Okay, talk to you later.